Delicious. Written by Bonnie King. As read by a British person. It's a slow day at work. Kind of chilly outside. I guess nobody wants to get out in this weather, Bonnie says to her manager Becky. Well, maybe Dave will call and let us close early. Becky laughs. The girls hear the door open slowly, slightly creaking. In walks a rather tall man in a long black coat. He was slender and pale. Creepy guy, Alan whispers, with a devious smile plastered on his face. Quiet Alan, Becky quietly exclaims, you wouldn't want him to hear you. Anne walks up to the counter to take the man's order, when in walks an elderly couple holding hands. The man turns in slight annoyance, mumbling to himself. I'll come back, he says. With a quick turn, he rushes out. As the hours pass, business dies down again. The door opens and a small, frail girl with hair as blonde as corn silk walks inside. The girl approaches the counter and stares up at Anne. Hey sweetie, Anne says in a warm welcoming voice, can I help you? The child says nothing. She stares at Anne, her pale blue eyes piercing and cold. The girl then turns and walks away, leaving the building and all of its inhabitants baffled. Fucking weird, Bonnie says. Before anyone else can say a word, the man in the black coat slinks back in. Staring, his eyes scrutinize the room. As the pale figure walks slowly up to the counter, his eyes lock on Alan. The man walks around the counter, toward the kitchen. Hey, you can't come back here, Becky says as she steps in front of the man. Shut your mouth, a bitch. The man mumbles as he pushes Becky against the ice machine. Alan turns around to see the man behind him. He looks down to see Becky lying limp on the floor. Hey, what the fuck, man? Alan tries to rush past the man to aid the fallen Becky. The man grabs Alan by the throat and throws him hard onto the floor, stomping his body as he walks by. The girl. Where is the girl? The man screams, his eyes searching for her. What girl? Alan gasps breathlessly. The man walks around to the back of the building when he spots Bonnie sitting frightened in a corner. He bends down to her, grabbing her by her long ponytail. Ah, get the fuck off of me, you psycho! Bonnie screams. Foolish girl, the man chuckles. You should have run. The man drags Bonnie across the floor, kicking her feet and screaming. He drags her into the kitchen, pulling her to her feet by her hair. Alan rushes the man, slamming his body against him. The man just laughs as Alan falls to the floor. He tosses Bonnie to the cold hard floor like a rag doll and quickly turns his attention to Alan. Staggering to his feet, Alan slams into the man again, with as much force as his battered body could muster. The man pulls out a long curved blade. Alan's eyes widen as the man grabs him by the back of his head, slicing his throat in one quick motion. Alan tries to scream, clutching his bleeding neck, as he falls to the floor, expired. The man in the black coat, satisfied, turns to Bonnie scrambling across the floor, injured. He quickly walks in her direction. Ah! Oh my goodness, Becky! Anne screams. Becky, are you okay? The man huffs as he peers around the corner at Anne. Who are you? What are you doing back there? Seeing the blood rushing from Alan's lifeless body, Anne turns and runs. The man begins to pursue her, but stops. She won't get far, he laughs maniacally. Turning his focus back to Bonnie, she's gone. The man looks around frantically before seeing Bonnie dragging herself slowly towards the back door. He grabs her by her feet, pulling her back into the kitchen. "I just want a sandwich," the evil man politely explains. "Let me go. Please let me go," she screams, kicking the man. He looks deeply into Bonnie's eyes, warning her to stay put. He turns to the meat slicer. Removing the beef and the guard, he tosses them to the floor with a loud clash. The man pulls Bonnie to her feet once more by her hair. He pushes her face closer and closer to the slicer. Bonnie struggles for freedom, to no avail. Laughing loudly, the man turns the slicer on, guiding Bonnie's face slowly across the machine. "Please. No. Please," she screams as the blade slices thin piece of her cheek. "Please, let me go." The man stops, removing Bonnie's face from the machine. "Oh my God, thank you. Thank you." The tall man looks at her with a sudden kindness in his eyes. Bonnie turns to run. The man snatches her hair again and slams her face on the spinning blade, laughing at Bonnie's pathetic screams. Thin slice by thin slice, Bonnie screams, struggling, bleeding profusely. The man laughs hysterically as he slices her face into the thinnest slivers. He throws Bonnie's bleeding body to the floor next to Alan. He grabs a bun and slaps the fresh bloody face meat onto it. Dressing the sandwich with some leaf lettuce, tomatoes and mayonnaise. Gently he places the top of the bun onto the sandwich. He raises the concoction to his nose, inhaling the scent deeply. He opens his mouth, biting into it hard. The man moans with satisfaction as he chews noisily. Delicious.